Hi, I'm Katie Turner with the American Red Cross, and I'm here with Alice Fuller from Johns Hopkins Transfusion Services. Hi Alice, how are you today?
I'm good, Katie. How are you?
Good. We're going to take a little bit of time to talk about granulocytes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what a granulocyte is?
Sure. Everybody in their blood has different components. We all have the same components. There's basically three things. We have platelets, and of course the Red Cross collects platelets. We have red cells, and everybody knows what red cells are, and then we have white cells. One type of white cell is called a granulocyte. The job of a granulocyte is to literally eat the bacteria that invades your body.
So it's kind of like your immune system. It's one of the cells that is in your immune system.
It's part of your immune system. And as far as numbers of them, if you took a liter bottle of soda of your blood or my blood, we would have millions of granulocytes in that amount of blood.
Wow, wow. So what kinds of patients need granulocytes? What are they used for exactly?
So the patients that we give granulocytes to are patients who are being treated for cancer. And they're being treated for the kinds of cancer where they have to give very high levels of chemotherapy. So they're the cancers that are of the blood. They're the leukemias and the lymphomas and the myelomas where very high doses of chemotherapy are needed. These high doses of chemotherapy literally destroy all the different blood components that I mentioned. So they have absolutely no ability to fight off infection should they become infected while they're getting this chemotherapy. Fortunately, of course, we have many antibiotics and many antifungal drugs that fight off infections from bacteria and from fungus. Unfortunately, these bugs through the years have gotten smarter, and some of these bugs have become resistant to every type of antibiotic that is currently produced. So when we have a patient who is getting chemotherapy, who we know will have no granulocytes for a very short period of time when they're getting their chemotherapy, and they get one of these infections that is not responding to the antibiotics or the antifungals that are available, we consider those patients for granulocytes.
Okay, so it sounds to me like you have patients who are very, very ill, and they don't really have the cells in their own bodies to fight off the infection. So the idea is that you give them these granulocytes from a healthy patient with the expectation that they're then going to help fight off.
Exactly. And the granulocytes that you and I have in our body, although we have millions of them, they're very short-lived. They only live for about 12 or 16 hours.
Oh, wow.
So we're constantly replacing them. So this is a good kind of cell to be able to harvest from a donor and to be able to give to someone else, because our body is so well adapted to being able to just make more of those for us.
Right. So it sounds like for the donor to the recipient, the turnaround time must be very short in order to get these granulocytes to the patients who need them.
Yes, that's correct. So when red cells are collected, those red cells are very happy in a bag for a month. When platelets are collected, they're very happy in a bag for 5 days. But when granulocytes are collected, they're only happy in a bag for less than a day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, the Red Cross nurses did a good job explaining what the medication was for. It was to help increase my production of white blood cells for a short period of time. I've never experienced any difference in my personality or the way I sleep at night or anything like that. It's not been an issue for me.
Here with Eldridge Davis, who's one of our committed granulocyte donors. How are you today, Eldridge?
I'm doing excellent. How about you?
Wonderful. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about why you donate granulocytes.
It's something that really doesn't take a lot of time to do. I mean, I feel like an hour and a half every 2 weeks isn't a lot of time, and it helps people out.
How did you get started with granulocyte donation?
It was originally through work. We had a Red Cross veteran that came to work one day. I gave blood, and when a Red Cross representative, she asked me if I was interested in giving granulocytes, and I said yeah.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about how the process works and what kind of impact it has on your life to make this commitment to do this kind of donation.
Oh, it's just every 2 weeks I come here, do the interview process, the questionnaire. I pick out a movie, sit in the chair for about an hour and a half, watch the movie, and they take out my blood platelets, and at the end I just get 2 cookies.
Wonderful. Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now we have Roxanne Owens. She's one of our dedicated granulocyte donors. Why don't you tell us, Roxanne, why do you donate granulocytes?
I donate granulocytes knowing that it will help someone. Originally, when I first was chosen to donate, it just gave me a feeling that I helped someone. So on the other end of everything, I knew I saved a life.
I'm here now with Michelle Betzel, a granulocyte donor. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you, why do you donate granulocytes?
Well, I think that, over the years I've done platelets, I've done red cells. I think that it's just one of the most selfless things you can do for someone else. And it really does make an impact on them. And it is just, it gives you a direct connection, a personal connection to somebody that you typically wouldn't give or wouldn't have if you were donating money or volunteering time, things like that.
So tell me about that personal connection. And what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I think that, how often can you say that you have the ability to help save someone's life with something that you can give of yourself? And it takes very little time, very little effort to do that, and it's a major contribution to someone else.
Right. Now the Red Cross calls you when they actually have a patient who needs granulocyte donation. So when you're giving, you know that you are making an immediate impact on someone's life. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I think it makes you feel really good. I mean, I know that after I get up out of that donor bed, I know that I've done something that truly does make a difference. It's not just, lip service, it's truly doing something for someone else.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about the process. I know that, we ask you to take a medication prior to coming in for the donation. Talk to me a little bit about that medication and how it affects you.
Well, I think, one of the first things is they'll typically call me and tell me that they need me for a granulocyte. And then they make it really easy for me to get that medication. They'll either bring it to me or they'll mail it.
Oh, wow.
Which is really nice. So you don't have to go out of your way to get it. And you make sure and you take it prior to donating granulocytes. I believe it's like 24 hours before. And there's really, I haven't noticed any significant difference in the way that I feel after taking the medication.
And the medication is basically just increasing your body's production of granulocyte cells so that when we do the process for the donation, you have a lot more to give, right?
Right.
Okay. So tell me how, knowing that you're getting called at the last minute sometimes, and that this is a type of donation where sometimes you do have to come in on a somewhat urgent basis to do that. Do you find that impacts your schedule or your life in any way, or how does it work for you?
Oh, I don't think it does at all. I mean, if you really think about it and you put it into perspective, it's maybe an hour in front of the television, or just something that you wouldn't really be doing much of anything anyway.
Right.
So if you look at it and you kind of put it into that perspective, an hour and a half out of your day is very little of an impact in what you're doing, and they usually know ahead of time when they're going to need you. I mean, not far ahead, but 24 hours or so.
Okay, so you do have a little bit of time to kind of, rearrange your schedule if you needed to.
Right.
Okay, great. So do you have any final thoughts for somebody who might be considering granulocyte donation?
Well, I think, it's just really important to remember that it is something that you can give of yourself, that takes very little time or very little effort, and it's one of the best things that you can do to help someone else.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just wanted to take a moment now to introduce a few members of our Granulocyte team. We have April, who's one of our collection techs, Carolyn and Renee, who are our schedulers for the donors for Granulocyte donation. Do you all have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with donors who might be considering this special donation process?
Well, I'd like to say I would encourage anyone that is available and eligible to donate to give it a try. It's an extremely special type of donation that you can provide.
And I'd just like to say thank you to each of you for considering the Granulocyte program.
And I would like to say I look forward to talking to you.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us, and thank you for taking the time to watch this short video. We do hope that you will consider Granulocyte donation, and we look forward to providing you with the best possible customer service and care that you deserve for this special donation process. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.